Pardon the interruption, but I'm Mike Wilbon. I got a friend in the studio today.
I'm Tony Kornheiser, so you consider us friends?
Well, on the days you're here.
Oh, okay.
The days you're up on the big screen over there, maybe less so.
I think we're friends.
I think so.
I came over to the house
45
on Sunday so you could teach me about streaming. Yeah. I'm still waiting for your guy to call me.
I think I blew that one. I was supposed to hook you guys up last night.
Yeah. You want me
text.
to do streaming? You know?
I'm sorry.
Come on, man. Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, the Eagles pass on running the ball. Big Ben wants the Steelers to stick with Justin Fields, and Jeff Saturday joins us for 5 good minutes. But we begin today with the Atlanta Falcons getting a last-minute touchdown pass from Kirk Cousins to beat the Philadelphia Eagles by a single point last night after a 47-yard PAT. An excessive celebration penalty on the man who scored the touchdown, Drake London, moved the kick back 15 yards. Cousins, who had been left for dead last week, went 70 yards in 65 seconds, completing 5 of the 6 passes he attempted on the drive. Wilbon, does this put an end to the Kirk Cousins questions in your mind?
Tony, yeah, in a secondhand way it does. It's just interesting listening last night and this morning to all the ex-quarterbacks on the air on all the different networks. There are about 20 of them. And they all had the same feeling about Kirk Cousins, which was he looked relaxed. He looked like he didn't have a care in the world in that 2-minute offense. He looked more comfortable doing that than he had other things. And while he wasn't moving as well on that repaired, previously torn Achilles, he was moving better. And Cousins himself said that he knew he wasn't his best in terms of movement. But he did look great in that drive. Yeah. Those were big chunk plays that he produced. Mm-hmm. And for now, there are always questions in another week as soon as they lose another game. But for today, questions answered.
Yeah, I mean, so if you ask me that question, does it erase the Kirk Cousins questions in my mind? I would say no, not necessarily in my mind, but it does in his teammates' mind, who were screaming,
"How about
you
that
like
celebration?"
That? And that's his signature quote. Yeah. Look, as you say, he's coming back from a torn Achilles. He's going to a new team with a new coach, with a new system. Maybe he's come back too soon. There are going to be stumbles along the way. But he has been a professional quarterback in this league for over a decade. This is the 6th time, I believe, that he has gone with the go-ahead touchdown in under a minute, in a football
down the
game.
Field.
That's 6 different times he's done that. Why do you think the Vikings paid him all that money to get him out of Washington? Yeah. And why do you think the Falcons paid him all that money to get him out of Minnesota? Yeah. Right? Because he can win games and he doesn't necessarily lose them on his own. I don't want to go crazy here. He's not Tom Brady. He's not Patrick Mahomes, right? I mean, I understand that. But he is a solid, mature, professional-grade quarterback. He had a bad game last week. You don't put in a rookie, Michael Penix Jr., on one bad game.
No, you don't.
You don't do that.
People need to shut up. But the knee-jerk reaction, overreaction is part of the culture. But, Tony, let's give a nod to his offensive line. Kirk Cousins had all kinds of time back there most of the night. Most of the night. People talk about getting rid of the ball in 2.5 seconds. I know. He could have gone 4.5. He could have doubled his time holding the ball, and he was still okay. So I think when you're moving around on a bum Achilles, which is not even a year out from being repaired, I think that's an important thing that your offensive line gave you that kind of time.
What is interesting to me is that the big buzz that lingered on 2 teams in preseason lingered on Atlanta and it lingered on Green Bay, that they would take big leaps. They both lost the first week, and everybody said, oh, my God. They're done. Now they win, and now everything is right. The problem, it's a 17-game season, a long season. The problem for Atlanta, I believe, is they host Kansas City next week. That's a tough game.
Kansas City has won both of its games by a play.
But they've...
At home.
But they've...
At home.
But they've...
I'm just...
Not a dynasty of 1, my friend.
No, it's a dynasty of 3, but, they come to an end. How many people have won 3 exactly in a row?
In a row?
Nobody. The Eagles could have closed out that game with 1:46 to play, but instead of running the ball and getting the clock under 1 minute on a 3rd and 3, Eagles coach Nick Sirianni called for a short pass to Saquon Barkley, which we know he dropped. The clock stopped, the Eagles kicked a field goal, and the Falcons won. Now, Saquon said he'd let his team down. Tony, are you blaming Saquon or Sirianni?
So I watched a lot of television this morning, and I saw this being debated. And I watched, and I was actually agape. And I thought to myself, what are you talking about? It's a perfect pass. He's going to catch the pass. He's going to make a first down.
At least the first down.
They're going to win the game. They're going to win the game. Okay? He is a Pro Bowl back. And over the last 3 years with the Giants, he caught 139 passes. He dropped the ball.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
But it's the right call because it was going to work, right? I mean, to me, if you want to blame Nick Sirianni, it's only because you hate his guts. You probably blame him for COVID as well because it worked. It worked. The pass was good. The other thing I heard were some people were saying, well, you run on third and then you pass on fourth. Pass on fourth because the analytics say so. And you go, whoa. The analytics? What are you talking about?
Cop-out.
The ESPN BPI, what are you talking about? You kick a field goal on fourth. You're up 3. You got to get up 6 and force them to get a touchdown to beat.
Okay. I'm not going to disagree with you, and I'm not going to yell and go crazy.
Like yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm okay with the call. I'm okay with it. It's not the best call. Tony,
it's a
first down that the Eagles do
Game's
better
over.
than any team in the league. They get under center with Jalen Hurts, and they run that brotherly shove, and you're not stopping it because Atlanta didn't stop it earlier in the game. Atlanta did stop a pass play at the goal line earlier in the game from the Eagles. So, Kellen Moore, I'm going to blame him for the call. I don't know whether it's Sirianni or Kellen Moore.
I'm not.
But, Tony, I'm going to run it on third down, which brings the clock down. Okay, I'm going to ultimately get close to 40 seconds.
Okay.
And then
run again?
First of all, Saquon Barkley can get you to the 1. Running the ball. And then I'm going to run it again with the brotherly shove, and I'm going to get in, and there's no drama.
It's
none.
A perfect play. It was not executed well by the man trying to catch the ball. It was a perfect pass. Let's get to the heart of the matter here. If you're going to blame somebody, blame the Eagles' defense.
Yeah.
Now
they let Cousins go right down the field.
They are paid to stop the other team's offense.
Home.
And they had pretty much all game.
Yep.
And then they allowed Kirk Cousins to go, 70 yards?
In no time.
6 plays?
Yeah.
So are you going to blame Sirianni for that? I'm blaming the defense.
No. I'm okay. I don't think there's all that much screaming and yelling to do over the play call. But there was a safer, more high percentage play to call.
I don't know.
You mean to tell me they're not going to – you've seen the brotherly shove.
I know.
They just plow into the end zone.
I'm just telling you that the play that was called was perfect.
It was,
and it didn't
except
work.
It wasn't perfectly executed.
We stay with football. We move to Ben Roethlisberger and his podcast, which have gotten a lot of airtime on PTI in recent months.
Ben. You know I love Big
This time, Roethlisberger played the role of Mike Tomlin, and he said, I'm quoting here, if Russ is healthy, I'm sticking with Justin. I think that he has earned the right to stay there, unquote. Will Ben Roethlisberger pick Justin Fields over Russell Wilson for the foreseeable future? And I ask you, are you with him?
Hell yeah. Yes. I got into this fight with the violent disagreement with my brother over who is going to start the season for the Steelers, Wilson or Fields. And I said Justin's going to start. Now, I know that probably wouldn't have been the case had that calf been healthy.
That's right.
But the point is, that's the way it played out. They're 2-0 with Justin Fields. Justin Fields is getting something now that he didn't get in Chicago, and that is adequate or better coaching. He's getting rid of the ball in 2.5 seconds or less all the time now, consistently, when he never did it in Chicago. You know what percentage of his passes he's completed when he gets rid of the ball in 2.5 seconds or less?
I have no idea.
100%, the only quarterback in the league.
Okay.
So Justin Fields is an improved player.
Right.
He's dynamic. He can do something Russell Wilson can no longer do, which is make big plays with his legs. You know his teammates are going to be feeling him right now. He's younger. You can plan with him. Justin Fields has been Roethlisberger accurate. What he says is your starter.
If you're going to shout out to your brother, use his name. Say Don. Don't just say my brother.
That's
okay?
My brother. It's a little brother. He didn't get
the confluence of people in this makes me so happy because everybody we're going to talk about, and you have talked about, is in the Mike Wilbon Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
You love Roethlisberger.
Yes.
You want him first ballot in the Hall of Fame, and you've said this for years.
Yes.
Okay. You love Fields. Last year, before the draft, you were going to keep Fields, even if it meant not drafting Caleb Williams, who you also love.
Yes.
You love Russell Wilson because I've sat here for 3 years and I've said, stick a fork in him. He's done. And you've said, no, he's getting bad coaching. And you named Nathaniel Hackett, you named Sean Payton, and you said the problem with Fields, he's getting bad coaching, as you just said again. So when you got a question like this, I anticipate your head exploding. I'm going to stay with Roethlisberger on this because I'm going to say that unless Justin Fields entirely flushes the mouse, which is an expression I like to use, he ought to be out there. Now, his resume is nothing special. He's led them to 1 touchdown, that's all.
That's okay.
I want to get the number right. 273 yards. You think he's
better
great
than his
passer?
stats.
273 yards passing in 2 games, which is getting close to Bryce Young territory. Yeah. And I don't believe that Russell Wilson would be worse, but I would keep Fields out there on a short leash. And you know what I would do? I would put Russell Wilson in the middle of a game like they do in soccer if I needed to. I would do that.
I wouldn't
What's
mind
the problem with that?
But you know what? You start Fields, they could be building something there.
Yeah.
Because the Steelers are well coached. Yes. All of them, including the quarterback. They are. Right.
But he hasn't produced much so far.
Fields going to be all right. He's going to be all right.
Did you see the Roethlisberger quote?
What?
If you told me they were 1-1 or 0-2 and this is going on, I'd say, well, you got to do something. So it's just about the record. It's not that the play is good. It's just about the record. Let's take a break. Coming up, what is the Saints offense doing differently to be so effective? We're going to ask Jeff Saturday.
We'll also ask him what needs to change for the Bears' offensive line to actually protect Caleb Williams.
It sounded to me like Roethlisberger was saying, if Justin Fields turns it over once, I'm hooking him. Let's dig into the trenches with our great friend, ESPN NFL analyst Jeff Saturday. We're going to start with this. I had to go to the glasses about Wilbon. Wilbon wanted to fire Ravens offensive coordinator Todd Monken yesterday. One fire, can him.
Yeah, get out.
They're not giving the ball to Derrick Henry down the stretch. How often does an offensive line roll its eyes? You played offensive line at an offensive coordinator's strategic decisions.
Oh, there's a famous video of Peyton and I on the sideline. It's not just your offensive coordinator; it's your quarterbacks as well. So as an offensive lineman, there is a decent amount of times where you think to yourself, you're like, really, man, that's what we're going to do right here. I will say this though, Will, but I will say this: it was not just the play call. They had 11 penalties as a team. It was as sloppy as I have seen the Ravens play. I'm with you. I want Derrick Henry more. But they shot themselves in the foot a great deal. I was disappointed in the overall execution of the team. 11 penalties for a John Harbaugh coach team is a rarity, and that's how you lose to the Raiders and at home. And so big loss for them. But it's not just it's not just the OC. It's just the way our game has gone. So I'll leave it at that.
I was angry at the Ravens for not running Derrick Henry. I'm just terrified at my Bears not being able to protect Caleb Williams. Jeff, I'm going to zero in on one specific part of the offensive line woes. The interior was so ineffective. How much better can an offensive line get in a season without personnel changes? I mean, that's a group that has to play together. Is it reasonable to expect that they can get better to protect this kid?
Absolutely, they can get better. They need to focus on situational awareness and how teams are going to attack them, and understand when you have a young quarterback in the interior part of your offensive line, and really the tackles gave up a lot of pressure as well, is what protections do we know we feel most comfortable? Maybe we have to leave tight ends and backs in more. You saw the Saints against the Cowboys. They had 8-man pro to throw it deep, and they were going to force, the defensive edge rushers of the Cowboys to go through a tight end, a back, and possibly a tackle. So sometimes you got to be creative in your protections. Even if you limit the route runners on the outside, you can definitely get better. The biggest thing I would ask of them is be aware of when defenses shift alignments. Understand somebody's coming to pick you, somebody's coming to wrap, or if you see somebody slanting, somebody's coming back. So keep your head on a swivel, pass those games off. They might not be clean, Wilbon, but at least you're taking the hit off of Caleb Williams. That's what's going to be vital for this team. And then him getting the ball off in time will pay dividends as well.
You think we can talk Jeff into getting into the Bears film room and with the offensive linemen?
Well, have you fired anybody in the Bears today?
That's his old team we're playing against, too. All right, we'll go to something a little more upbeat. The Clint Kubiak, the offensive coordinator of the Saints, he has them rolling. What is so different than what they were doing under Sean Payton's old system that they kept after he left?
A lot of shifts, a lot of motions, a lot of formations where you're trying to out-leverage where the defense alignment is. And if you watch this past week's game, you saw a lot of great angles, very similar to how San Fran blocked up their first week and the way that they took advantage of angles. And Shanahan run offenses do this quite a bit. They're going to give tight ends good angles. They're going to give blocking backs very good angles. The linemen who are blocking the second level, they can get through. And so you saw a lot of that the other side, I will say this, though, the physicality that the Saints have shown has been shocking to me. I will say I wasn't expecting their offensive line to be nearly as physical as they have been these first 2 weeks. It wasn't just angle blocks. They were knocking defensive linemen into the laps of linebackers and linebackers into the legs of defensive backs. That's when you see them really grooving and moving. And you saw 134 yards before contact. That's unheard of with a 190-yard rushing day. That was as beautifully done as it can be done. And tip of the cap to Kubiak. He put together a great plan against those Cowboys.
We're going to get you out of here with this, and it's a fabulous story, and it leads to a fabulous question. The Packers center Josh Myers vomited on the ball. Let me repeat that. Vomited on the ball before snapping it to Malik Willis on Sunday. You played center. Did he handle this the right way?
Absolutely. This is such a thing of beauty that he walks to the head coach and says, "Hey, coach, there's puke on the ball. I can't throw it." Don't make a bad situation worse. We tell our kids that. We use that in our own lives. He understood the assignment, and so I respect the heck out of it. Got a little vomit on the ball. You're gonna be okay. We can wash our hands on the sideline. Everything's okay. My favorite part is that the snap was still perfect after Myers had puked on the ball. The whole thing is a thing of beauty. Needs to be highlighted and talked about because both players handled it perfectly.
I can't possibly let you go without asking if you ever did that.
Did you ever puke on the ball? You know we got to follow up with that.
Oh, no. Peyton would have held a press conference and retired. He couldn't handle it.
Thank you, Jeff. As always, thank you. Let's take one last break. Still to come, the Dolphins make a decision on Tua.
And Padres star Luis Ariz does something he hadn't done in 5 weeks.
The thought of Peyton receiving that ball.
Yeah, it was vomit.
And because Peyton is a neat guy.
That's right.
Because you wouldn't know.
Peyton's an orderly guy. Ball. Peyton would be like, get some hand sanitizer out here now.
Happy time, people. Happy birthday to a whole slew of talented athletes. Happy 22nd birthday to the Washington Nationals' big-hitting rookie outfielder James Wood. Happy 27th birthday to the Maple Leafs' Austin Matthews, who led the NHL in goals this year. Happy 29th birthday to Patrick Mahomes, only 29. Happy 33rd birthday to the Cleveland Guardians' third baseman Jose Ramirez. Happy 39th birthday to Alex Ovechkin. Happy 49th birthday to the great race car driver Jimmy Johnson. Happy 50th birthday to Rasheed Wallace. Both teams played hard, my man. And happy 79th birthday to Phil Jackson.
That's a hell of a list. A roster of people born on the same day.
It is.
You know, my favorite is the last one you read.
Yeah,
Philip Jackson.
Absolutely.
Your guy.
Yeah, love
You
him.
go back with Phil much further than I do.
Covered him when he was a player. Happy anniversary, Reggie Jackson. On this day 40 years ago, on the anniversary of his first Major League home run, Jackson, then playing with the Angels, sent a pitch from Kansas City's Bud Black over the fence for his 500th home run. Jackson was the 13th player to get to 500. Incidentally, Black is now managing the Rockies. Jackson began his career in Oakland, where his teams won 3 World Series. He then went to the Yankees, where his teams won 2 World Series, and he got the nickname Mr. October for his postseason prowess. Jackson then went to the Angels before a final curtain call in Oakland. People who watch this show know how fond I am of Reggie Jackson.
Quick story. I'm a young sports writer, 24, 25 years old. I'm in the California Angels locker room. Reggie Jackson is dismissing every reporter in there. No, not talking today. No. What do you want, kid? I said, well, Tony Kornheiser said to introduce myself and say hello. Have a seat. I have plenty of time.
It's so great. So great.
Really? Who knew?
Happy trails to Luis Ariz's streak of not striking out. The Padres star whiffed against Astros righty Spencer Arrighetti last night, bringing to a close his streak of 141 consecutive plate appearances without a strikeout. This is the longest streak since Juan Pierre won 147 straight plate appearances in 2004. It's the second longest streak in Padres history behind Tony Gwynn's 170 in 1995. Ariz bounced back, getting hits in his next 2 at-bats to raise his National League leading average to .323. He already has batting titles with the Twins and the Marlins. How is this guy on a different team?
Because analytics tells some fools to do something else and they don't pay attention. Whenever you have Tony Gwynn and you mention him on the show, you know what happens over time now? To me, Tony Gwynn has become
better and better.
a mythical figure in baseball. We don't talk about him enough, his talents, his exploits, his discipline, his genius with a bat in his hands. It may be second only to Ted Williams.
Yeah.
It's possible.
You could argue that. Quick to the big finish. The Dolphins are placing Tua on IR until at least week 8. Your thoughts?
I don't want follow-up updates on Tua all the time. I just want him to get well over whatever time it takes. Deebo Samuel's going to miss a couple of weeks for the Niners. Cooper Kupp out for an extended period of time for the Rams, which is the bigger deal.
I would say Kupp because Puka Nacua also out, and the Rams don't have margins. Yeah. The Mets moved into the third NL wildcard slot ahead of the Braves, beat the Nats. You expect that to last?
Don't have to guess much. They play 3 coming up, Tone. Mike Trout is open to moving to either corner outfield spot or DH in order to stay healthy and in the lineup every day. Is this a good idea?
Keyword, stay healthy. Stay healthy. Okay. Stay healthy.
Right.
Last one. The White Sox won their 3rd straight game. You're smelling 4 in a row tonight.
The Angels are such dogs. Yeah, why not? Why not? White Sox, go. Go, White Sox. You know, Vinny Minoso, Nelly Fox.
Put them in those shorts again. We're out of time.
Don't wear those hot pants.
United States PGA Cup team 3-peat. Shout out.
Congratulations. I'm Mike Wilbon. Same time tomorrow, Knuckleheads. You can get the PTI podcast on the ESPN app or Apple Podcasts. I shouldn't have insulted the Angels.
It's a Mallory Crossland deal. Shout out.
Sports Center's coming up.
PTI bonus topic.
All right, Wilbon. Are first-round quarterbacks given enough time?
No. And I don't mean given enough time once they start playing. They shouldn't be playing. They shouldn't be in there. I'm not seeing you going back to 1960s and 50s and you say, okay, Bart Starr's going to sit for 3 years. Or even Aaron Rodgers sat for a fairly long time. We've seen that. But Tony, let me just mention some guys in addition to Bryce Young, who's now been at least demoted. Zach Wilson, Mac Jones, Trey Lance, Justin Fields, even though he's starting for a different team. Kenny Pickett, is he in the league? I guess he's backing up for the Eagles. Yes, you had a stretch there. You had 1 year where you had Burrow, Tua, and Herbert. But they're the exceptions. And they came along, boom, linear exceptions. All those other guys I mentioned are either benched or playing for somebody else.
Yeah, we're going to agree on this. They need to sit. They need to watch. They need actually, more than anything else, to feel the speed in real games of the defenders.
Which means at least preseason, which teams don't even want to play anymore.
I mean, if you look at the last 20 years, and I could give you a list of people you might think were the best 3 quarterbacks. Mahomes, Rodgers, certainly Brady. Yes, all of them had an apprentice year. Even Mahomes had an apprentice year. And he got to see it and feel it without getting crushed. Now, I understand the temptation because the rookie contract, you get somebody cheap and maybe you build around them by getting more expensive people at other positions. And I understand if you have Peyton Manning and if you have Troy Aikman that you want to play him.
But they took their lumps.
They took their lumps as rookies. So, yeah, they're starting everybody too soon.
Yeah, but Tony, you can have a guy under a rookie contract. It doesn't mean you have to start him right away. I mean, the Bears didn't have to start Caleb Williams. I'm fine with it because I'm out there cheering that on too. But the point is you can have a veteran quarterback start those games while you build, and you can get that kid in either later in the rookie year or the second year.
You know, I know that they think they take care of everything at the combine. But every once in a while there's a quarterback who might have been very good, but he is shattered emotionally because they threw him in there too quickly.
I hope Bryce Young is not one of them. I hope there's a better result coming for him. That's it. We're done. Back to you.